The Devils are scheduled to take on the Flyers later tonight, but they're dealing with a few injuries. What's the circumstance? We have a lot to break down in today's episode of Locked On Devils, coming to you from Wells Fargo Center. Buckle up, everybody.
You're Locked On Devils, your daily podcast on the New Jersey Devils. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi, this is Bryce Salvador, and you're Locked On Devils with Trey Matthews.
Elliott scores! Oh, Stevens stepped up, nailed it. Brodor's got the puck. What a shot. The Devils win the Stanley Cup.
Alrighty now, what is up, New Jersey? Welcome back to the Locked On Devils podcast here at the Locked On Network. I'm your host, college hockey play announcer, Devils Wire Pucks Pitchforks, and also part-time credential media member, Trey Matthews. Coming to you from the media room inside Wells Fargo Center. I am in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the city of brotherly love, where the New Jersey Devils are scheduled to play the Philadelphia Flyers. And I have a morning skate report. In the first segment, I will share a brief one-on-one interview I conducted with Tomas Tatar. Then in the second segment, I will play the media availability of head coach Sheldon Keefe. He revealed that Nico Hischier will not play in tonight's game. And then in the third and final segment, we will also hear from Timo Meier. It's going to be a next man up mentality for the Devils. They've been dealing with some injuries, but I don't think it's anything to be all that concerned about. I had the chance, like I said, to speak with Tomas Tatar shortly after morning skate concluded. As you guys know, I've been comparing the recent stretch of games for the Devils to what happened during the 2022-2023 season. Let me jog your memory. The Devils, they won 50-plus games that season. However, in mid-December and early January, they kind of hit a slump. But what snapped them out of it was winning that big game against their Hudson River rival, the New York Rangers, in overtime. Damon Severson was the hero in that matchup. And after that, the Devils won 4 straight games. And I'm sort of comparing this current Devils team to what happened during that time span a couple seasons ago, because the Devils, the past few weeks, they've hit a bit of a slump, but a big win against the Boston Bruins, a team that has had the Devils number the past few seasons, and scoring an onslaught of goals on Jeremy Swayman, who's one of the best goalies in the NHL right now. I felt as though that awakened the Devils a little bit, and in their latest matchup against Montreal Canadiens, sure, it wasn't pretty, but they walked away with a victory in overtime, and they got the 2 points. That's the main thing. So I asked Tatar, who was a member of that Devils team from a couple seasons ago, like, did he see any correlation between this current Devils team and that specific Devils team? Here's what he had to say.
That's back there, honestly. Like, I don't remember us being in a slump, to be honest. So sorry. Yeah, I just thought overall that season was kind of smooth. I know we had a little rocky start, but then I thought we did a pretty good run. I think we had like a 14-game winning streak there, and since then, I don't know if we had a few little like up and downs, but it wasn't like anything like we would be falling off completely. So I'm sorry, I don't remember the time.
No, it's all good, because this leads into my next question. Do you feel like the team is turning it around a little bit? Because, past few weeks been a little rocky, but big win against the Bruins, one against the Canadiens. Do you feel like you guys are starting to string together more consistency, because it's your first time winning a few games in a row since late December?
Yeah, after the Christmas break, we just didn't play well. We weren't good enough. We compared to the time before the break, last whatever the games was, we were giving up, I don't know, maybe max 15 shots on the net, and after the break we didn't play structurally good enough, and I think we're digging ourselves out now. It's a hard league. You have to work every day, play every game, so it's not easy, but I think we're heading in the right direction right now.
How about your personal play, because it seems like you're starting to put up some more points in your last few outings?
I mean, it's kind of hard to thinking, and to be productive. Our our role is different, and anything productive is just a bonus. And it's not really, you know, you don't really have to just chance out there, you know, to be productive. So, you know, our focus is to play the right way, our line, and do a lot of things to help the team, you know, to create those on time for them. And, you know, if the opportunity, you know, maybe later on presents different, then I can maybe talk about that. But, you know, right now our goal is to different, you know, what we can provide for a team as a line.
All right, last one. You enjoy being back 1 year removed?
Back in Jersey?
Yeah, back in Jersey.
Yeah, you know, obviously in a familiar environment, you know, to know all the guys. And I think I'm very close with them, so it's good to be back. You know, I like the culture. You know, I think we have a very strong team, and you know, I want to be a part of something special, you know, to build.
I was just trying to do some investigative journalism. I knew it was a bit of a long shot. Yes, that Devils team was successful, but like I told Tatar, which is, at one point, the Devils were struggling. That was mid-December and early January, but the game against the Rangers, that's what kind of snapped them out of it. I think, by and large, that Devils team has nothing but good memories, and rightfully so. They made it to the second round of the playoffs. They got their butts whooped by the Hurricanes, but the main thing is that Devils team was successful. Like I said, bit of a long shot, and I was just trying to see if Tatar saw any similarities, but he ultimately had nothing but positive things to say about that season, and I do understand. But once again, the reason I just make that connection is because I don't want anyone to be concerned about the Devils and their recent string of games. I don't think there's anything wrong with this Devils team. I think they're just fine. They just hit a bit of a funk, and every team hits a rough patch at one point or another, but the good teams snap out of it. So I'm glad that Tatar took the time to answer a few of my questions, and it seems like he's enjoying his time in his second stint with New Jersey. Coming into this game, Tatar has 3 points in his last 4 outings, 2 goals, 1 assist. So I'm curious to see what he can do against the Flyers. All right, we're going to hear from Sheldon Keefe, and he's going to update us on the injury circumstance surrounding Nico Hischier. But before we continue, let me tell you guys about FanDuel. Super Bowl 59 is here. 1 game, 2 teams, endless possibilities. And there's no better way to make every play more exciting than with FanDuel Sportsbook. Whether it's predicting the first touchdown, calling the MVP, or even betting on the coin toss, FanDuel makes it easy to get in on the action. With live betting all game long, you can adjust your bets as the game unfolds and feel the thrill from kickoff to the final whistle. The live betting feature lets you stay involved no matter what happens on the field, and the app is super easy to navigate. Plus, knowing that you can place a $5 bet and potentially win $200 in bonus bets for the Super Bowl, that's the icing on the cake. For me, it's ABC. Anybody but Chiefs. Download the app or head to FanDuel.com to get started. And Wells Fargo Center is right across the street from where the Eagles play, and they just won the NFC Championship. So I'm hoping that Philadelphia beats Patrick Mahomes and the referees. Download the app or head to FanDuel.com to get started. Bet just $5, and if you win, you'll score $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Bet with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 59. Please remember to always gamble responsibly. Okay, in the previous game against the Montreal Canadiens, Nico Hischier took a couple of cross-checks from Josh Anderson and Nick Suzuki. He will not play in this game as revealed prior to morning skate. And I know a lot of people have their concerns surrounding Nico Hischier, but let's hear from head coach Sheldon Keefe. He talked about Nico's injury circumstance, also Jack's injury circumstance, because Jack was not accounted for at morning skate, but he will still play a little later tonight. Here's what Sheldon Keefe had to say. Take a listen.
He's doing okay, similar to the other night. So he's gone back to Jersey to get evaluated, and we'll have more information once we get that figured out.
And then when it comes to Jack, obviously, taking a couple morning skates off, and we talked about it last game, is he still kind of limited in the face-off situation and what you've got there?
Well, like the biggest issue is they're just trying to limit the amount of time he spends inside the glove at this point. So that's a big part of why not skating in the morning. And it's getting better, I think, by the day. So in terms of face-offs, I think that'll be determined once he gets out there tonight. But it's just something for him to manage. Obviously, he's able to play through it the other night. He scored a huge goal for us. So he's managing and pushing through it as best he can. But there's certain situations, such as face-offs, where it's helpful for us to be able to limit him that way and just kind of keep him pushing through it.
We've talked so much about when you have player absences that, the structure takes care of everything else. But when you put Dawson in that role where Nico is, like, what type of challenge, what type of opportunity presents itself for him personally here?
Oh, it's a more prominent position, Obviously, Nico's means a great deal to our team. Like, he takes on so much. He might have the hardest job in hockey right now in terms of the level of competition he plays against, the face-offs he has to take in both dots and all three zones, and power play, face-offs, penalty kill. So he means a great deal to our team. So if you take him out, then there's opportunities there for others to step up. I think if you're someone like Mercer, you're wanting those opportunities. You're wanting to be leaned on. You're wanting to be counted on. And to me, he was outstanding in the third period the other night in Montreal. We asked him to step into that role, and that's what you need. So it's little things like that help you find your way through. So it's individuals stepping up, and then it's collectively the group just tightening up.
With Jack, he's kind of banged up. Is there any concern with him going forward, going to like the Four Nations face-off, him playing for?
No, this is an hour-to-hour, day-to-day thing. It stitches in a cut. So once that's healed, he'll be good to go. And as you saw, he's playing through it just fine.
What did you learn from, I guess, 8-9 days ago when you played against Philly that you can kind of work to your advantage tonight or improve from that game that can help you tonight?
Yeah, there's lots of areas we need to improve, but they play hard. They've been, not just how they played against us, they've been playing really well here, for quite a while, and very dangerous in transition with their speed that they generate coming out of their own end, and they defend real hard, clog lanes, block shots, so it's hard to get to their net. So those are all things that we got to find our way through. But our game is in a better place now than we saw them last. So that in itself, we're hoping it can improve our performance against them.
In what areas specifically is the game better than then?
Well, I just think we're executing way better on offense. We've been way more connected from breakouts to neutral zone and getting through to the offensive zone. So we've been generating far more. The Montreal game we just played was one of our better offensive games that we've had in terms of chance generation. So it's going in a good direction there. And defensively we've been better and limited the chances and shots against, and we've kind of had a little bit of both things happening. Where previously we maybe played well defensively, but offense wasn't matching, and or vice versa. So we think we're in a better place here right now, and that's where you need to be to continue to pick up points.
You talked about the opportunity for others like Dawson to step up in Nico's absence, but on the face-offs, it's not just the face-off man. The wingers got to do their job. Is there more of an emphasis of what they might have to do when you lose your top face-off guy?
Yeah, I wouldn't say more, because we talk a great deal about that. 50-50 races coming off the drop and winning the secondary battle that happens after the face-off. So we emphasize that a lot. Even when he goes out there's a lot of pucks that lay around, a lot of tied up pucks. We don't really have centers that win the face-off back clean. There's not a lot of guys in the league that are able to do that consistently. It is a lot of the secondary battles, so it's a lot of the other guys on the ice that have to help win them. And in some cases, that's why the stats get a little skewed as well, because it becomes hard to really determine what actually happened on the face-off versus what happened after. So that's why we keep our own internal stats.
You mentioned it that Philly did a good job clogging up lanes in their defensive zone. 31 block shots. You talked about needing to create more movement. What does that more so look like in the offensive zone to get more of those looks here tonight?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of finding ways around the block, meaning like move the puck to different lanes quickly, get it on off our stick, and then deliver it quickly. There's times, when there is a lane there, we need to get it to a good spot versus overthinking it and allowing the lanes to get clogged and the structure to settle in. So it's a bit of a mix in that area. I thought we did a real nice job in Montreal of that, where we shot around the block and got things through. Sometimes, of course, they got the blocks, and that'll happen tonight too. But we just need to get some more good pucks to the interior. So that's been good in the other zones as well to help us be. The cleaner we are coming out of our end, and the cleaner entries we're going to get. The cleaner entries we get, the more we're going to be able to make the next play to get a clear path to the net.
You still have a few weeks until the break, but how valuable is that 2 weeks off going to be for your team to rest up and heal their bodies more?
Yeah, I think it'll be important for everyone in the league. It's been a tough schedule. When you have a break like that, you're going to have a condensed schedule as a result. That combined with you getting to the point of the year where things start to add up a little bit between illness and injury, and I'm sure everybody's looking forward to the break, but there's plenty of work to do before then.
Okay. Here are my main takeaways. I know a lot of people are concerned with Nico and Jack, so let's discuss it. I'm getting a lot of messages saying that Nico might have like a bruised rib, or what if he has like a broken collarbone or something like that. I don't really know. People are fearing for the worst. Let me just make something clear. Until Sheldon Keefe says that Nico is going to miss some significant time, then I don't think there's anything to be concerned about. It's a day-to-day thing. And similar to what Jack Hughes said in the previous matchup against the Canadiens post-game, Nico has played in all the games up to this point, and if he can't play on Monday, then it's just a next man up mentality. And the Devils also aren't playing any back-to-back games leading into the Four Nations break. So I think that plays into the favor. It allows Nico Hischier to get some rest. Now, let me just make this point clear. The fact that Nico Hischier is getting evaluated, I understand why a lot of people might be concerned, but also keep this in mind. The Devils just have a few games remaining before the Four Nations break, which would give Nico Hischier a couple weeks to recover if needed. That's worst case scenario in my opinion, but being without your captain for a few games, I know that's not really ideal, but this is a softer part of the Devils' schedule, and I don't think they're playing any teams that they can't handle, with the exception of the Vegas Golden Knights. As for Jack, he had to get stitches in his finger in the matchup against the Bruins, and Sheldon is just trying to make sure that too much pressure isn't on Jack's shoulders. That's why he didn't do any faceoffs in the last game against the Canadiens, and why his brother, of all people, did a faceoff in overtime, which I still find somewhat comical, but digressing a little bit. Don't think worst case scenario, especially if Sheldon isn't saying worst case scenario, because Sheldon will come out and say if one of his players is going to miss significant time. He said it for Eric Haula, and Halla's been missing for a few weeks, and he said it for Markstrom. Markstrom is scheduled to miss 4 to 6 weeks with a sprained MCL. So if Sheldon Keefe isn't saying that Jack Hughes or Nico Hischier are scheduled to miss significant time, I don't think anyone should be freaking out about it. Next man up mentality, and the good teams know how to adapt when situations aren't exactly in their favor. Okay, let's hear from Timo Meier shortly after morning skate concluded. Here's what he had to say to the media.
Guys sadly got hurt, but that's the reality, and we gotta, battle through it. Obviously play hard. Everybody, has gotta make sure they step up their game, especially with guys like that missing. But that's what it comes down to. Everybody, stepping up and want to win for them.
And not just stepping up, but just almost, I would imagine, trusting what has been put in place will take care of absences like that.
Yeah, at the same time, you don't want to change too much your style of play. You want to stick to your plan, and like I said, this game tonight is going to be a hard-fought battle. Lost last game to them, so it's going to be a bounce back game for us. In their building where they play hard. The fans are going to be loud, but it's on us to play our game.
What did you learn from that last game that you can kind of correct tonight?
Yeah, we didn't break out well last game against them. It was low end game, but we also didn't play our best game. So we gotta definitely play with more intensity, but starts with breaking out the puck better and then getting on the forecheck. We've been doing a better job of on the forecheck. So like I said, we got to establish our game early and have it for 60 minutes.
Is that a little bit like you kind of got sucked into their game, how they want to play a little bit more than you kind of were hoping for?
I think the breakouts is a key thing where, it starts with your possession and then they get the forecheck and they get to play in your zone. So you want to turn that around and do it to them and make sure they have to defend more. So like I said, it's going to be a hard-fought game.
Like I said, I think the Devils, they're facing a challenge right now, which is everyone is dealing with something. And as the NHL season progresses, I talked about it in the last episode. PK Subban one time said it, which is nobody's 100% come the end of the season. Everyone's dealing with something. If you're a hockey player and you're dealing with all the physicality that comes with it, there's no way you're 100% unless you're not playing. So I think everyone just needs to take a step back, calm down, and once again, I think this is a good challenge for the Devils, which is, okay, you're not exactly playing a tough opponent. I know the Flyers defeated the Devils their first go around, but the Flyers aren't exactly having the best of seasons. I think the Devils can handle themselves just fine. How do you adapt to it? And like I said earlier in the episode, the Devils are starting to string together a few wins. They've won 2 straight games for the first time since late December. I would like to see them continue to win a little bit more, but obviously it's going to come with some challenges. My last message to everyone before we head into the matchup against the Flyers, let's not bug out. I think the Devils are going to be just fine, and I'm liking what I'm seeing from this New Jersey unit the past few outings. Now, if they lose in horrific fashion to the Flyers, maybe we'll have a different discussion, but let's just see how this game goes. Now, will Nico be ready to go against the Flyers Wednesday night at the Rock? I really don't know, but we'll wait and see. That is my main takeaway from Morning Skate, which is I think everyone is just jumping to worst case scenario, and I think everyone just needs to ease back a little bit. Let me know your thoughts. What are your main concerns heading into the matchup against the Flyers? What did you think of my discussion with Tomas Tatar, and what were some of your takeaways from the media availabilities of Timo, Meier, and Sheldon Keefe? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment down below if you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on podcast streaming service. Hit me up on my personal X Page app at TreyMatt4 or the show's X Page app at Locked On Devils. As for today's episode, that's all the time I have for you. Continue to stay safe. Have a wonderful day, New Jersey. Go Devils. I'll catch you guys in the next episode. I'm about to grab myself a coffee before tonight's matchup. Trey Matthews signing out from Wells Fargo Center.